clients that I've been talking about in Alberta, um, I found a new property for them to look at, and they really like it, and they want to move ahead with an offer today. So that's a win for me, is that the property that I found, they actually like.
That is awesome. That's an awesome win. And it's funny how, you work in a certain direction and then something just happens and you're completely going in another direction now. Actually, that's kind of the fun part of real estate. And if you don't get too uptight about it and you're willing to roll with the changes, it
Mhm.
usually has a way of working itself out, which is kind of cool. Congrats. That's awesome. And speaking of Alberta, there was an interesting article that I'll send you, and it was about Calgary real estate market surging last month up to 29% higher. So it's a good segue for you to do a little bit of blasting about those stats. Yeah, because people are going in that direction because things are expensive.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to pick Shiva. What's your win of the week?
Nothing. No, I'm just been running around.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you have good hair today?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That's a pretty good, that's a win. That's a
It's
little win.
it's a fresh highlighted hair.
Okay, so you took time out for yourself to nurture yourself and give yourself a little bit of a
Yeah.
because I love that too. So when I feel down, instead of going to, eat a donut or something, I'd
Yeah.
rather go and get my hair done and just feel amazing after, right?
Like I have no one else to look at. I might as well make myself look better.
Well, don't think of it that way, but at least it makes you feel good. So then you actually project good vibes to everybody else, right? So
Yeah, I'm stuck in a phase that it's just I don't know what it is. Like I'm going, I'm showing properties, but it's not moving forward.
it's overall right now, and actually I will include a really good video. It's based out of the US, and it's Tristan Ahumada, I think his last name is. He's kind of interesting. He has like a 12-minute video that I watched this morning about what is really affecting the real estate market.
Mm.
Is it really the interest rates? Is it, and it actually was quite interesting. So I'll send it in the recap so you guys can watch it. It's 12 minutes, so I'm sure you can find 12 minutes in your day to watch it. And it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but like I canceled one listing last week, and another one wants to cancel end of the month.
Mm,
And it's not because it's just financial. It's very basic. The math doesn't make sense for people. So if the
right.
math doesn't make sense, it's like, like the one I have in Coquitlam, which I totally understand. It's a newer home, but for them to come out of their downgrading, so for them to come out of the home that's newer, like 8 years old,
Yep.
in a good prestigious place, and from Coquitlam, you have to go and live in Maple Ridge, and you have to downgrade into a home, but it's going to be something that needs rental. So you're looking at 1.6, 1.8, where they're looking at. You're selling at 2.4, which is not worth 2.4. So basically, paying your debt and coming out of something newer and going somewhere else, this doesn't make sense because financially, and the home and the location and things that you have to do to downgrade,
Yeah.
it's not
Worth
making a
it.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And this is actually why this video, I think you guys will like it, because it talks about the strategy of having raised the interest rates with the intention of bringing the pricing down. And it hasn't done that. And it hasn't done that because a lot of people have equity in their homes. So they're sitting tight because they either took out a low rate mortgage when they had the opportunity and they know that they still have 2 or 3 or 5 years left on it. So they're just not moving. So it's actually causing low inventory and no movement, right? So if we don't have things to sell, then And if they can't find something to go move to, they're not going to leave their current circumstance, right? So
Actually, it's something else that's concerning. Just so you know, a lot of people are taking equity out of their home and using it to get by.
yeah,
So for them to sell it, they're actually owe a lot of money to the bank before they could sell it. And majority of people are sticking to a variable situation, which is not ideal. They're looking at like 10 to 17, $13,000 of payments,
yeah.
and these guys are keep adding to it. But then if even if they want to move because they've lost equity because they wanted to get by, it's not putting anything in their pocket.
Yes, and a lot of, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've seen a big push for reverse mortgages. I've seen a lot of advertising now for reverse mortgages. So I know you're also have a mortgage broker license, and so I don't know if you do reverse mortgages, but
Yeah,
a lot of people are really pushing that aspect so that they can utilize the equity in their home to supplement the increase in costs everywhere else, right? So it's kind of an interesting market right now. And I mean, I wish that I had a crystal ball to share that I've seen this before, but you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, I bought a house and I paid 18% interest or whatever, and that was normal. Well, not when an average house price is, you know, 1.5 million. It's not normal. Maybe when it was 250,000 or whatever, it was normal.
1,000. You're like,
Or
sure.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's completely different scenario, and something has to give because the strategy that they used to do that hasn't been the strategy. So anyway, I'll send you the video. It's pretty interesting. So maybe it'll give you some topics of discussion, because obviously people are, I mean, I just made a note here, people are staying put. So I'm going to start talking about that. Like, are you thinking that it might be better for you just to stay? You know, this is why that's not a good idea. Because this is what what the implications are going to be. So that's a good topic to start talking about, because people are talking about it anyway. How about you, Elise? How's your week going? What's your win this week?
I don't know if I really have any. I'm still getting myself kind of set up and familiar with all the systems.
Okay.
But I've officially teed off all my BCFSA stuff. So the last thing I have to do is a Zoom in November, and then I officially get my full license. So
Okay.
that feels pretty good to have that all done and out of the way until then.
Good.
Yeah, just setting myself up, trying to figure everything out.
Well, yeah, once you've figured everything out, then they change it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's like constant change, but that's good. That feels good. And actually it's good. One thing that is good, as long as you're not panicked financially, is to have the freedom to be able to set things up properly in advance so that you're not scrambling. Imagine, you know, when we had the crazy market, you know, people coming into that market and trying to navigate and get organized within it.
Totally.
Yeah,
Chaos.
totally crazy. Okay, so I will jump in and share my screen so that we can go through the agenda together. All right. Actually, let me just shrink this. Shrink this. Okay, everybody see everything okay? So guess what? Business plans for 2024. We're going to be working on them as a team on October 17th. Shiva, you're not part of the team, but I always love you to be part of it. So you're more than welcome to join. And so what we're going to be doing is following the Tom Ferry ecosystem business planning session. But that's going to be on the 17th. So I'll send out some information on those of you that want to attend. Those of you that are in the team don't have a choice. You have to attend. But it usually takes a couple of hours to run through every aspect of the business plan. And so this is going to be, you know, business planning and life planning, like, you know, your entire vision of next year. And it's good to do that now in October, because this business runs 3 months usually in advance of the results. Because when you think about, you know, if you get a client, and you take them out to see property, they don't find something right away, then they find something that requires notice because it's tenanted, and that takes a couple of months. So really, at the end of the day, the average closing date on a transaction is going to be 2 to 3 months anyway. So if you think about it like that, you have to make sure that you're always filling up the hopper 3 months in advance. So business planning in October is crucial so that you can start working on those plans for the new year. So the 7 sections to plan are mission. You know, what's your mission? What's your purpose? What's your vision? Because you really have to visualize. Now, I know some people are more statistically based and they don't like the, you know, the whole law of attraction thing. I am a little bit of both. I like the proof that it's going to work, but I also like the fluffy part of, you know, imagining that I'm sitting on the beach, in the winter in Mexico, having a margarita, you know, that kind of vision to me says, okay, so if I think about that in the morning when it's pouring rain and gross and I don't feel like going to the appointment, I might get up if I know that my vision entails at the end of the year sitting on that beach, right? So having that vision is really a good idea. So I don't know if you're visual, if you're, if you need to hear it, if you need to, if you need it written, however it is that you get inspired, make it happen. So I love to have like a picture of that beach in front of me so that when I go to the office, it's right there. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be there. But however it works for you, to remind yourself all the time what your vision is pretty important. And that kind of ties right in with the motivation of it. So getting up, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Why did you get into this industry? A lot of people just assume that everybody gets in because of money, but there's lots. But if you actually look at the track record of what makes you feel good in this business, it's not always the money. In fact, a lot of times it's not. I love, feeling like I have been a part of a transaction with a client and see the excitement of their new life beginning in a new place. Like, I love that. Not everybody, thrives on that, but I do. And so when they start telling me where they're going to put their sofa, and I know, Jessica, you're working on a deal right now on land, so you're not getting that warm and cushy thing, but you will, and I don't know about you, Shiva, if you enjoy that, but I love when people start envisioning their life in a new home, and exactly when they have found it. Like when you walk in, you can hear the conversation switch when you know that this is the one that they're going to write an offer on. You just know. And I love that feeling. So that's part of my motivation every day. Accountability, what you say to yourself and what you promise yourself or others, who's going to keep you accountable in those times. If you don't have an accountability buddy, it's always good to set one up, because then you can make promises. Often I have accomplished things easier if I have someone nattering at me. And even though I don't like it, especially when I want to break the accountability, it's really helpful to have somebody remind you of what you said you were going to do and what your commitment is to it. What's your goals? And the way to do this, I kind of reverse it. I write down what my budget is. Like, what does it cost you to live? What does it cost you to live really comfortably? And so figure out what those costs are, figure out what your average commission is or will be, and work your way backwards to the volume, the gross commission earnings, and the units that you want to do next year. Then what I do in business planning, those of you that aren't going to be able to attend, I would create the schedule so that it's broken down into quarters, because I like to do everything in 3-month increments. So break it down into quarters and kind of follow the vibe of real estate. This third quarter of the year has a bit of a surge in it, usually this month, October, and into November, typically. However, it slows down closer to Christmas, usually, depending on the type of people that you're working with. If you're working with predominantly investors, then it may actually pick up for you. But predominantly the people that I work with, it slows down at this time of year. So, so I would put less of a volume or less units during those months. Plus, I want to be on the beach, remember? So I don't want to be worrying about my clients during that time. So I'm going to create my numbers to work with my lifestyle and the flow of the real estate market. Spring is usually the hottest time. So second quarter is typically your busiest. So whatever your overall goal in numbers next year is, position it so that it's achievable based on the market ebbs and flows. Marketing plan. What are you going to do for that? You're going to obviously focus on different areas of lead generation and have a marketing plan set up in 3-month increments so that you can follow that, and not too many things, of course, because we want to make sure that we stay accountable and committed. So create your marketing plan so that it's actually doable. Operations plan, same thing, having systems in place to achieve those things. So if you have in your marketing plan, for example, customer appreciation, and I'm saying this as my own lesson because I'm learning as well, even after so many years. I don't think I'll ever be perfect, but I'm still striving to make sure that I have the plan in place. So if you're doing customer appreciation, don't just put it in your calendar. You have to have a step-by-step process to actually achieve it. Just like you guys did when you were doing your real estate course. It didn't just magically happen. You had to actually schedule time to do the, the lessons. You had to schedule time, to do all of it in order to achieve the final results. So you have to plan that as well in your operations plan. Budget, what are you going to spend? What is your gas going to be? What is your, your overhead in general? If you're on a team, then you've got some of those expenses covered. But if you're not, you have to plan that as well over and above your personal expenses. And then what are your strengths and weaknesses? Have you guys all heard of the SWOT analysis? Okay, so do a SWOT analysis of yourself. Google it if you don't know what it is. SWOT analysis basically is a really true look at yourself. Where are you the strongest, the weakest? What does O and T stand for? I can't even remember in this very moment. I can't remember. Let's Google it together. SWOT stands for, opportunity and threats. Okay, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Threats being competition. If you're selling in a certain area, who's your competitor? That could be a threat. Or maybe you're a really bad procrastinator. So that's a weakness, So if you itemize them and you just call a spade, you're likely to be able to create a plan to improve. I know that I am not a super detailed person. I skim through things too quickly and I miss certain details. So what I have to do is go through things 3, 4, 5 times sometimes to make sure that there's no mistakes. And I know this about myself. It's a great attribute in other areas because I tackle 10 times more than the average person. However, I need someone to help clean up the mess behind me often. And so I know what systems to put in place to be able to do that. First week of the month, which is this week, is the day or the week that we debrief. So take a look back to last month. I wrote on my plan for the Truth and Reconciliation. It's a new holiday. I didn't do anything online, or I didn't do anything for it, and I'd like to do something next year. So I already put that in my Google Calendar next year and in my plan that I'm going to do something for Truth and Reconciliation Day. Not sure what it is, so I have to build out an operation for it. But what happened in September that you would have liked to do, take some time and think about it and put it into your next year's plan, because we're business planning. So might as well take a good look at what we didn't do this year that we'd like to implement for the new year. And this is I actually have a list in my notepad that every month I look back, I write down things that I would have liked to do for the month of September, the month of October, I'll do that. And then I just put them all into the new plan for the next year. It kind of builds your plan in advance, which is awesome. Then, of course, you're going to do your finance review, review your credit card balances, your office statements, see what, like I just downloaded an app today. I don't know, I was scrolling and I saw this app. I don't even know if it's legitimate. It says still it's creating avatars for me. It's some kind of a makes you look amazing app, AI photo app. So it gives you free photos, 20 photos every day, and it creates these amazing polished photos. So anyway, three minutes remaining, cost me $6. I do stuff like that all the time. I don't know if you guys do that, but I buy this stupid stuff and I'm like, why do I do that? So take a look at all your apps on your phone. If you don't recognize them, it was probably impulsive. So take a look because it's still charging you. Here's
You know what I do?
what
So like I do the same stuff. I love tech and I do weird stuff.
I know.
But sometimes what I do right away actually because I forget is like when I subscribe to something and then it says subscribe for 7 days, whatever. I go to my purchase things on my iPhone and I just cancel subscription. So then at the end of this 7, 8 days or whatever, it will cancel it.
Oh, see, there you go. There's a little trick and tip for
Yeah.
everybody there.
Yeah, so cancel it right away. You still get the trial, but then you won't get charged for the whole month or whatever.
Well, that's good with some of them. This one, you actually, you got the pictures, but if you cancel it within a certain time period, they already covered that. All your pictures become watermarked. So I don't know.
Because you pay for it right away. That's what it is.
Well, you paid for it, but yeah, you pay for it right away. And then, but if you don't fulfill the entire month payment, they watermark your photos. But
You know which one I really like, and I'm practicing because it has such a good templates of video. Because video is such a good thing to have.
Sure.
It's called Video Leap.
Video Leap.
Yeah.
I am currently, if anybody knows of, I want to get an email list of realtors, and there used to be Email Banker, but they're gone now. So I don't know what happened to them. So if you know how to get email addresses for realtors or buy them, anybody?
You know what I would do if I was you? There's a way to do it, and you go to LinkedIn, and you go premium, and you say realtor, and it gives you their contact numbers.
But then you still have to manually do it, right?
Manually do, I don't know.
Like I want the list. I want like the 17,000 realtors in Greater Vancouver list.
Demanding.
I know. I don't want to manually enter everybody's email address. That is going to be too time consuming. I mean, I guess if I have to, I will, but there's got to be a program that has captured these emails somewhere. I'm going to find it, but used to be Email Banker. You could buy lists from different provinces.
Okay, this I don't know. That's a talk like stalking thing.
Well, we should have like a little tech talk for anybody that's interested, because
I'm so interested.
I love it too. But and so if we share little cool things that we find with each other, I would love that. So maybe I'll add that to our future.
You should look into LinkedIn. I don't know if that's a singular kind of thing, but I know the premium, when you do that, maybe there is an export way of doing it into a spreadsheet. Who knows?
That would be awesome. Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out. LinkedIn Premium. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, check your apps if you really don't need that, beautifying app like I just downloaded. Get rid of it. And Shiva just gave us a trick on how to do that, because I forget and I get busy and then I'm like, oh, what is that? And why am I still paying for it? And then of course, meet with your bookkeeper. If you don't already have one and you're it, I actually have it. I am it for bookkeeper. I do have an accountant, but what I do is I now will go through all of my receipts. I organize them and then I put them aside for my accountant. If you have an app that photographs them, that is, a lot of them you have to make sure that they will be able to be used for Revenue Canada as originals if they're photographed, or if you want to store your paper ones, or however you track it, this is the time to do that. And if you do it each month, it makes your bill less, of course, for accounting also. Okay, so worth a listen, watch, read, check out these YouTube videos, and here is a Chat GPT adds a new feature for realtors. So check that out. Tom Ferry, jaw-dropping AI tools. So seems like everything's going into AI, even my photos. 3 minutes left. We'll see what they make me look like. I'm of course gonna check it out before I delete it. And then today we're going to talk about 25 appointments a week, no matter what, the referral pipeline. So as I said earlier, it's a really good idea for you to, by the way, hi Harminder. It's a really good idea to find different streams of lead generation. So this is a little presentation of Guy Javier. So I will open that up now so that you can share it with me. All right, here's Javier Tello. He is, I believe, based out of Texas, I recall, but we'll find out in a minute. So he builds a referral network based on face-to-face meetings, everybody. It's too bad Dwayne's not here because he would love this, because this is how he does all his business. And by the way, even though he does not have technology backing him, he's quite busy right now, which is, see, it's all based on face-to-face meetings. So Javier Tello, can everybody see this okay? Because I don't see you, so I want to, uh-oh, did I lose
Yeah,
you?
we can see it well.
Okay, you can see it, okay. I don't see you, so I'm just gonna move forward because we've got 15 minutes to kind of go through his spiel. So if you want to look him up, I always check out people on their social media, and actually I had his open. Let's see, here he is. Because I wanted to see what he was all about. And his website, of course, I like to check that out. Here he is. Compass, he works for Compass Realty. Here he is here with Tom Ferry and his Facebook. I don't know, maybe that's his kid. Anyway, I am a bit of a stalker too, so I like to look at what's going on with people. So here's no matter what, this is his mantra. So at a glance, oh, yep, Texas, Houston, Texas. So basically, he got into real estate and his sphere of influence was limited when he got in, which actually was quite similar to mine because I wasn't from here. So those of you that have not been born and raised here, it's not easy. Although most people haven't been born and raised anywhere. It seems that a lot of people are transplants, especially in Vancouver. But anyway, if you haven't had an opportunity in another career to build that sphere of influence, or a real solid group of people that you went to school with, or, you know, whatever, this is what he does. So he schedules 25 face-to-face appointments every single week, no matter how far he has to go. Now, this is pretty excessive because I try to schedule 3, but 25 is kind of wow. So it just goes to show you that, you know, what is achievable. So he's Houston, Texas market, 2022 production, 173 transactions, 67 million in sales volume. That's the average like house price. So I don't know what it is in Texas. If anybody knows, then that would make sense. But this was his GCI. This was his commission that he earned, $1,900,000. I'm like, okay, I got to listen to Javier. So his experience has been phenomenal. He adopts new ideas and standard of operating practices, SOPs, that he's brought to his business. And coaching, of course, has given him a great opportunity. So he does coach with Tom Ferry, and he attributes a lot of his story and success to that. Make sure, okay. So let's look at his numbers. So 90% of his business is generated from referrals. Past client, 25 past clients and sphere appointments per week is his goal. 370 contacts tagged as past clients in his database. So this is quite a large number. Now, I have talked to other realtors before that say the same thing. If you generate enough past clients that you've done a really good job, that you're maintaining that relationship with, you eventually do not have to be lead generating at all. So that's what he's done clearly, because he's got 370. Just making sure you guys are still here. Yes, you are. All right. So clients are not statistics, he says. They need to be nurtured with care and high quality interactions. That's what he believes. And it goes not just for past and current clients, but his broader sphere around him. So friends, family, whoever he associates with, his kids' school, parents, everyone has a unique story. And then this is where actually I had already quoted from him. He believes that, let's see here, the initial years in real estate industry was a challenge. He was an accountant before that, so he did have a little bit of background to broaden his network. And then he started dedicating himself to networking events, attending these events. So if you don't already attend any networking events, I also do recommend this. And it should be in an area that, I don't know who keeps messaging me, but clearly I have Messenger open. Sorry about that. So he attended networking events, and meetup groups is a great way to find places that you might be interested in. So if you haven't searched up meetup for your area, check out some of the, there's tons of women's groups actually. So sorry, Harminder, but if you're into golfing, there's golf groups, and it doesn't have to be real estate related, but any kind of networking event where you can get involved in is helpful to generate business in your sphere of influence, because people like doing business with people they like. So he says it's all about face-to-face meetings. Javier firmly believes that without in-person meetings, he's not effectively carrying out his responsibilities. As a result, he diligently ensures that his calendar is filled with numerous appointments. So I'm going to show you an example of his calendar in a minute. He has a passion for golf. So figure out what your passion is, or your, so that you can align yourself. If Nicholas was here right now, he also is a golfer, and Javier cleverly utilizes this interest to his advantage. He often arranged foursome golf outings with clients, allowing him to engage with 3 clients simultaneously. So that's a great way to maximize the event. He makes sure these events are extended, providing ample time for meaningful interactions. So he's about relationship building. And so this is not just about selling somebody a house. It's about developing a long-term relationship. He also regularly hosts happy hours every 2 weeks. 60% of his attendees are new faces. I guess I'm assuming he asks them to bring guests. So if you do want to host events or even webinars or information, or let's say you're working with maybe one of your lead gens is builders. Shiva knows lots of builders. So maybe you want to host, a way to meet new tradespeople, or like have other attendees that, they can collaborate and meet new people and have a networking group. That's actually an awesome idea. I could probably create that myself. During football season, the numbers tend to rise even further. So, have some fun injected in it. Now we've got Christmas coming, maybe have an event or a gathering that is Christmas related or holiday related. He prefers events and celebrations over traditional gifts. I would probably agree, because they're more memorable. People do love to have memorable time with friends and family, especially since COVID. I would definitely agree. Javier has made 25 appointments each week the foundation of his business. He relies on a dynamic spreadsheet. So this is where it's really important to have your systems in place to track daily, monthly, and yearly what his progress is. His interactions, he places a spotlight squarely on the client, steering the conversations with questions and ensuring it remains focused on their needs. His choice of meeting locations are diverse, encompassing coffee shops, restaurants, and lunch appointments. Those are really good if you meet people in public places like that, especially in either the area that they live or the area that they want to live. It's a great way for you to also meet the owners of these places. Example, I met a client for coffee in New West. She's buying in New West. We went to, I usually try to choose a local coffee shop, not a Starbucks. I like to pick, the mom and pop type of places. They're cool and unique so that I can also promote them, introduce myself, ask the owners about, how long have you been in the business? Why did you want to start a coffee shop? While you're there, you might as well make a connection with those people also at the same time. Okay, so ideally he strives to see current and past clients at least twice a month. So once you have developed a sphere of past clients, make sure that you keep in contact with them. Have a standard of operation of how often you do that. I send gifts to my past clients every 3 months. We will be doing a customer appreciation event this month to do photos for them. So if you need to maximize it in that way, it's a great way, because now I'm going to invite everybody and see them all at once. He sends out a magazine every 6 weeks, as well as a weekly email newsletter, which I'm going to include an example, and I will show you in just a moment.
What do you send your clients as a gift?
I kind of change it around, but I do it based on season. So I did umbrellas. I've done just merch that has Van City. I did a travel, when you plug in at the airport, you always have to leave your phone on the floor. So I got one of those ones that holds your phone in the plug when you're charging it, and it has Van City.
You label it with your company?
Yep, I always have it branded. Yeah. I've got for Christmas, I've got oven mitts and little Van City what do you call those? Those pot holders for bakers. So now I'm just going to be ordering, I'm probably going to do an online cookbook that I send out to everybody as an email version, or online version of a cookbook, basically, and then mail out the little pot holders for all the bakers out
Oh,
there.
you mail it to them? You don't hand it to them. You mail it to them.
I mail some of them because some of them aren't in town. So I send it to everybody, people that have moved out of the city as well. If I have a chance to go and give it to them personally, I definitely love to do drop-bys, because it gives you a chance to actually talk to them face to face and see how their life's going, right? So I sometimes personally avoid that because I'm worried about the time that it's going to take to do it. But in actual fact, I've never regretted stopping and taking the time, because I've always learned something new. And so that's a good lesson, to remind yourself of, like, it can always turn and open the door into another possibility, right? Instead of closing gifts, he gives dinner instead. I used to do this as well. If they buy in a certain neighborhood, I would actually call the restaurant owner and ask them to personally invite my client to dine at their restaurant. It's a really great personal touch. It's not a gift card. It's really personal. And it also shows the restaurant owner that you're promoting their restaurant, and they will remember you in case they run across somebody that might be buying or selling. So 3 action items for success. Be yourself, determine what you're good at and what you're passionate about, and incorporate it into your business. So you'll find like-minded people and passionate people that it will make the conversations easy. So, if you're a golfer, talking to other golfers is going to be easy to converse with, and, you won't have those awkward moments. So figure out what you're good at and what you like, and attract, that's why there's room for so many realtors in this industry, because we are so different and we do things differently. So find your tribe. Number 2, remember that it's not about you. It's always about the client and the service that you provide. And number 3, don't think about the money. Of course you want to be cautious, and, if you're selling a 1% listing, or something like that. But, protect yourself in that area by having a buyer's agency contract, so you don't have to worry about it. And that way you can really focus on the client's needs and not worry about the money. The business is about giving and being of service to them, and being the, this business has really changed. We used to just hold all of the information, but now it's all available online. We are the guiders. We guide people through this process. So we are at service to them. And that's really what our job is. We don't sell houses, they sell themselves. 6 things that Javier does, or what he's going to do moving forward, because he also has goals for himself, and obviously he's doing his business planning. So one thing he wants to do is more video footage. I did look online, and there isn't a lot of video on Javier. So he obviously falls short in the social media video aspect because he's in front of people. So, it doesn't mean that he's not successfully doing a business by not doing video, but he definitely realizes that he wants to capitalize on that more. So he's going to do video footage, sending it to his sphere of influence about the best places to drink, eat, and visit. Number 2, he wants to add 2 more events face-to-face a year in addition to his spring and Christmas event. Number 3, he wants to add a co-ed happy hour every quarter. So far, he's been doing it with guys only. So obviously it's the sporting kind of guy thing. So he wants to make sure that it's co-ed and include the ladies in there. Great. Good strategy, because girls usually are the decision makers anyway, so they should be included. Number 4, start a neighborhood beer and taco day. Javier, I'm assuming he's got some taco genetics in him, or he loves tacos. Who knows? That's just an assumption, but this event will be kind of a cool taco truck or beer truck. Number 5, he wants to promote or sponsor a top golf tournament benefiting a local charity. So he's giving back to the community. Like, what a cool event. Number 6, work with Tom Ferry Coach to help keep him accountable and implement these ideas. So my coach does keep me accountable personally. Again, if you don't have your own personal coach, get a friend that is not going to buy your BS. And they're going to call you on your stuff. Newsletter example, I'm going to show you right now before we sign off, because actually I thought his newsletter was pretty good. And, oh, there's my kitchen guy on Facebook was messaging me. That's what that was. Okay, so here's a newsletter example that he sends. When you find a professional you trust, you want to get as much value from that person as possible. That is especially true if that professional provides excellent service. That's why you don't get your lawn care done by a great contractor only once. This is where I was telling you earlier. That's why you don't hire a fantastic investment advisor and only use them for one transaction. That's why you don't see your dentist and never make another appointment. And yet when it comes to real estate, many people wonder, what more can they expect from their real estate professional once their home has been sold and their move is done? The answer is plenty. Indeed, I'm a huge believer in providing ongoing services to my clients in the months and years between their moves. Those services can include annual checkups, client appreciation, being available to answer any real estate questions along the way, and of course, these regular newsletters. The bottom line is I'm here for my clients, so think of me as you would your favorite mechanic, investment advisor, dentist, or any other professional you count on. He sends this out. Included in his email is a newsletter, getting family members enthusiastic about moving, checklist for selling your home this fall, the role of carrying costs when buying. So this would be a great segue if you want to introduce newsletters into your future marketing plan for the upcoming 2024 business planning. You could definitely take some of the ideas that we talked about that people are asking out there and incorporate them into your newsletter based on the questions that people want to know, and include that as extra value added to already the value that you provide your clients. Yay! Love it. All right, everybody, have an amazing week. We're 5 minutes over time. My goal every week, just so you know, is to stay on time. So if you want to keep me accountable, ring a bell or something, because I always try to end at 11:15 and I'm always 5 minutes over, but I hope that you found it valuable. I will send you a recap, including all of these and the slides, so that you can look at it at your leisure and have fun with all of your AI tech tools that you're going to check out this week. See you later, everybody.
Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you.
Welcome.